YouTube. So it's preparing. There's a little, what's it called? Toggle.
Toggle,
Thinker.
thinking finger. When you say
YouTube. Okay, so it's preparing. There's a little. Let me just turn the volume down. Whatever. I guess we are now. Oh
my goodness!
I want to hear about your breakfast in bed one more time.
Right now?
Because I don't think. Right? No, you don't have to tell me that.
No, I can't.
No, you don't have to tell me that because I'm going through menopause, so I can't remember anything anyway.
Oh, okay, good. So I'll tell you again. I'll tell you the
I've been told I'm going through menopause by a 22-year-old.
Menopause. You just made me think. Is that a way of him breaking up with you? Menopause. Oh my God!
You have to be together to break up. So not really.
Oh God! I still have that cough from being sick with whatever virus that is.
I think I say too many things that he thinks would offend all his friends. And I'm like, well, if you think I'm saying something that feels wrong, just tell me. He's like, well, I don't have enough information. I'm like, well, yeah, but you can go with your gut. I was like, if I'm saying something that's like, yeah.
His gut is still developing. He's still young. He's too young.
Because I feed him too much.
He's a Latino boy. He needs to be fed. No.
This is part of the green card process. You know, you have to like get used to eating a lot more.
It's question 6 on the green card process, and then also your favorite tamale, which I also have. Thank God. My mom sent me home with.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, my mom sent me home with food, tamales and mole. After she insulted me and looked over me, we were talking about waist trainers, and I'm like, oh, I don't do that. I go to the gym. I work really hard with actually doing my muscles, and she's like, it's not working.
Did you have the snail things on when you told her that? Because
I needed more 24 karat gold patches, and so I was like, oh wow. All I did was wow. And she said it in front of my sister-in-law and my 14-year-old niece. Okay, really fuck her up. I walked away. and was like, wow. For her, this is normal conversation. Walked away. I waited to pee, and I was like,
oh, so you can see it.
Right, I was waiting to pee, and I was like, anyway, so I need those. Oh my God, those are it.
I have them.
You have them. Oh my God, that's exactly. Oh my God, you and my mom. You might be the same person because I had the Peter Thomas Roth ones, which I love.
Oh, I love those.
Those are so good. I thought someone would get them.
I never used them.
I used them all up. They're so good. But then my mom said, I have some other ones from Korea. Let me see. And look, yeah, same.
The Koreans are the
literally the same. So what happened was after she insulted me and had no idea she did, I was like, hey, I need new patches. And this is when I knew she realized. She's like, oh, I have a new box. I'll just, here you go. You can take it. And I'm like, okay. So every time she insults me, I'll just think of something else that I need. When I need a facial, I'll go over there.
That's your mom right there. Marsha.
Oh my God. Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, that's me. No, that is me. Oh, wow.
So Katy Perry is JonBenet Ramsey.
Oh God, I don't even want to get into that one.
Remember our old logo?
Oh, that was our first logo. We still might come back to her. She might be a poster at some point.
I'll leave it.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's very interesting there. Yeah, so I've got these on now. I keep them on until they crumple off for at least, I don't know, I like to keep them on at least an hour or, yeah. How long do you keep yours on?
The one time I've used them took longer than you're supposed to. And then I start thinking about snails on my face. And then I get real excited. And then I get grossed out. And then I get excited. And then I get grossed out. And then so I do it by feeling.
Oh, how long are you supposed to? Because the Peter Thomas Roth ones say like 20 minutes, but I was even on an hour. Nothing bad happens. They just they get dry up. And
you came out just right.
What's up?
Yeah, you're fine.
I mean, yeah, I think if I leave them on for an hour, I'm...
Nothing bad happens. You're fine.
Wow. That tracks with the whole... Did I tell you about the breakfast thing?
No. Yes. No, yeah. I want to hear.
How I tried to So waking up like my ovaries are. I think my ovaries are having. There's a fight club going on down there. I think one's trying to defeat the other, and defeat me.
The one who has the SAG card is gonna get the screen time.
Yeah. Well, she's winning because they're trying. While they're doing that, it's keeping me in bed. I canceled the day, but also because of the wind, because it's insane. And there's like the literal warnings I'm getting is stay home, do not drive. That's how strong the wind is. I think there's gusts of 100 miles per hour, 80 to 100. So I'm like, okay, fine. Canceled the day because of cramps, heavy period, and wind. So I romanticized myself with breakfast in bed. I'm like, I'll work here. I did a little Frenchy thing with the little breads and the jam and the coffee. She sets herself up, got the laptop, and it's a little bamboo table. As soon as I set it up, the table gives and everything falls.
Exorcist.
So, well, here she is, all cleaned up now. But so, well, so there's coffee all over my white bed spread that needs to be dry cleaned now, all over the pillowcases, and I'm out of bed now.
And now you fixed
Put
it.
to work.
Now you're all fixed.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but when you get pain, when I get pain, I either have to lie down or I have to keep moving, so I don't feel it. So she's got to keep moving. She's got to pace around the house like an indoor dog.
Oh my God. I try to pace around, and I'm like, my place is small, and then I stub my toe, and then I blame something that doesn't affect me.
Oh. So who died today? We killed 100
Tibet died.
Buddhists. That's 100 Buddhists, Ben. But yeah, what happened? So there was an earthquake, like a 7.1 or something earthquake at the border of
Nepal. 6.9.
Or was it?
I'm airing on 6.9.
There's an interesting political thing, because when you go from one number on the Richter scale to another, it changes your aid. That's the aid that people, I don't know about international aid. It does. So when it goes from 6 to 7, and this one I know because I survived the Northridge one. I was a teenager when that happened. First they announced it as like a 6 something, or the reverse. First they said 7 something, and they were trying to downgrade it because it changes the aid significantly. 7 is like emergency. But I read one article. I read one article already that said 7.1, and then they're reporting it later. It's 6.8. Not with 120 people dying immediately. I don't think so.
Were any of them celebrities?
What's that?
Were any of them celebrities? Because according to our culture, those are the only ones that matter.
Maybe one of the future Dalai Lamas. Oh wait, there's no more. Never mind. This is the last one. So
Okay, you're done.
Oh no. Good job. I felt the deaths. That's why I stayed in bed. I opened that. I'm like, no wonder I felt a little pending sense of doom and not wanting to move.
That's a big story.
It might be because of menopause, heartbreak, and this family snarkiness. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
my therapist says I'm enough. I just made the Tibet earthquake about me.
Dude, you are enough. I'm trying to figure out where to find comfort.
This is like done. There's nothing in it, and I'm still smoking it.
All right, who else died today? What else isn't?
It was a 22-year-old sports person.
What?
I just want to start naming things. I'm like, Phil Donahue. Oh wait, no, that's not what happened.
Wait, a 22-year-old sports person? What happened?
Ben Affleck and them settled for divorce. Of course, I'm just doing TFC. Dead. Come on. Give me the good one.
Liz
is live.
Meredith
Vieira. Meredith Vieira's husband, Richard Cohen.
He's young though. I think I saw 76.
76.
That's young. What happened?
Is that?
No, it's not. I only see the skull appropriately.
Does that look young to you? Oh.
I can't see him.
Look.
Oh.
They look young. Poor guy.
76 is
Hugh Jackman. Nope, not dead. Different story. Cowboys cheerleader. Nope, not dead. You're dead to me, said Shaquille O'Neal to Dwight Howard. Jimmy Kimmel. No, he's alive. No, that was it. There was another one. There was like a 22-year-old sports guy, but that's not as important for our thing because it has, unless he was in a movie, right?
rare. This
No,
is the vibe.
but that's terrible. I wonder why all these people are dropping dead.
Because it's January. It's the month of death. It's the biggest
That's
month of death. It's January.
Let's see.
The dead of
What
winter.
do we usually go to? What do you usually go to when you look up?
Well, my iPhone gives me the headlines of everything. Although I don't like it. Something changed in the algorithm. It's not giving me smart stuff anymore. I don't know if that's me or it's me or them.
Peter, Paul, and Mary's Peter Yarrow dead.
Oh,
86.
yes, I saw that Peter Yarrow died. He wrote Puff the Magic Dragon.
That's your fault.
Puff the Magic Dragon. It's because I didn't puff the Magic Dragon. But you did it. See, you're honoring him right now.
I love him.
That song's about drugs. You know that.
Yeah.
I knew it was about drugs when I was like.
I'm so glad we're thinking about that. I mean, he had to die for us to think about it, but I'm so glad we're thinking about them now.
Peter Yarrow, that actually is a good memory. That song is very sweet. And I remember, was it someone else that told me it was about drugs first? But I remember knowing that when I was young and saying that out loud to an adult. They're like, no, it's not. I'm like, don't try to, let's just.
Yeah, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is about a trip to 7-Eleven. Oh, the big one.
It is. Yesterday, it is about a trip to 7-Eleven. Potentially.
The big one yesterday was Aubrey Plaza's husband.
Yesterday, the day before. Yes.
Or wait, no, it was a few days before. Yeah, because she skipped the Golden Globe because of what did he do? What was it?
Suicide. Ben's suicide.
He deleted.
He's 40. We're the same age.
Say the medical condition anymore. Yes, you can.
That's what they officially announced it. I'm just reading the headline.
But somehow you can say homicide.
But that's what the headline says. I'm just reading the headline. He's the same age. We were the same age. He did so many.
That's bad. Find out how. I just want to know that. Why would I ask that question? Of course, I want to know how.
Because you want it like what method? I know. I do too. I do want to know.
Yeah, I'm not like getting off on it. I'm just like.
No, for information. Like, I was
how did he think that was a good idea? Also, did he kill himself?
Well,
I think this one did, but you always wonder when a celebrity goes and then they take up all the headlines.
Well, now like Liam Payne's death. How that's very questionable. That
took up a lot of headlines and it covered up a lot of things that are happening in the world.
Well, it's not just that part. It's like literally. There's literally coming up with. There's just reports of that he didn't based on.
He got pushed.
Evidence that they found. You know.
Yeah.
That he was pushed. There's just other evidence indicating it wasn't a cut and dry situation.
Yep.
That's what makes it.
I wonder.
Disturbing. And also,
not surprising, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not with him specifically, but you know,
so famous.
I can say all this now because it's all starting to come out about the music industry. Before it would have been called the conspiracy theory.
Oh, speaking of music,
I knew about
Diddy. Paulo, because that's Paulo. We know things because of him.
Oh yeah. But I knew about Diddy 25 years ago. I was talking about it 25 years ago.
Ben, so did I, because I remember people were talking about it.
It
was whispers.
That's what happened. Yes.
People I know would tell me. They'd be like,
I'm right. I'm right. When I say the alien invasion being planned, I'm right. Fake event. I'm right.
Don't mind me. I'm just using this as a mirror. Thank you. Okay.
There is I won't go into the actual organization of it all, but there is a sacrificial nature. And that's in general. You remember that episode of South Park where they said Britney Spears, everybody wanted Britney Spears so much that like she became the corn? It was such a, I mean, you can really go into it, but it's like we like to see people fall. we like are mesmerized by them dying, and like they're really, I really think, for many different reasons, that there is an actual organized system in place where that is a real thing. But in general, the society, and that's its own conversation, but in general, the societal reaction to people's fascination with celebrity cultures, we like to see them rise and fall. And not that we like to see Liam Payne fall, you know, but I mean, like, we get fascinated on like, oh my God, and like and then you personalize it. I loved him. He was there during my breakup. Like, no, he wasn't. He was on the radio. But like, we want to wrap our ego around these things, that people who are doing things that are successful, that or have unattainable in our minds lives, and we want to attach ourselves and give ourselves value based off of their PR lives. And so when we see them die, there's this odd celebration in this culture that's unhealthy. In other cultures, it's not. Like, probably when, you know, when Mama Coco died, like, tell me from the Mexican perspective how that was received.
Oh,
The Mama Coco that it was based off of.
I was totally listening, but I am still fixing my. I like that I was just eating toast and fixing my hair. The whole time while
This
you're
is what
talking.
happens when I'm with the 22-year-old, because I'll
No,
say
I was
something,
listening.
I'll be
I was
going.
listening.
No, I know I'm not comparing you.
No,
Like,
I was
I'll be
totally
going into
listening.
something,
Listen.
and then he's like, "Can I go through your hats?" And I'm like, "It was getting so good.
I was
I was
listening, and
talking
I'm
about the
sitting here
alien."
talking. But listen. You know I have you know I can have like 20 conversations. I was totally
Yeah.
listening. This just goes back to, this is like since high school, since I don't say junior high, but definitely high school, where I would be in AP chemistry, and I was still doing and even my teacher would call me out. They're like, "Oh, she's doing her makeup," but he could ask me any question and I could answer it. I would do it at that. Hey, I can glam and still be
So you're
listening and be
saying you
smart.
need Adderall.
I'm just thank God they didn't give me Adderall. I don't think I need it. I don't know. We'll ask my therapist tomorrow. No, I don't need. I just have chronic anxiety. Yes.
One of my job who
What
tries
you
to
were saying.
all the time. Anyway,
Well, I don't know.
but how was
I
Mama
don't know
Coco?
about the
No,
reaction.
all right. So American culture's obsession, not fascination, yes, but with the death of a celebrity is celebrated in an unhealthy way. Sort of. Like, not everybody, but like underneath it, there's like this, like, ooh, like, you know, got one, or like
Think
Amy,
so?
like, ooh, now we get, yeah, well, yeah, because it's like the final curtain. It's the beginning of a new story for them,
I
because it wasn't really like in the headlines as much. So it's like a new way for you to relate yourself. Oh, look what he did. You're like literally at his wake, or you're giving the eulogy about him. Now you've inserted yourself, and it's all about,
Ooh.
it's this, like, I don't want to say the word capitalism. It's just like it's like the money grabbing energy. It's this way of inserting yourself into the success of what this country particularly like can provide, and the fact that you haven't gotten to where you want to be, or you aren't them, it makes you celebrate. Well, oh God, you know,
I don't
we're
think it's
all human,
you know
or
what I
like,
think it
I
is.
don't know. There's
You know,
something there that's unhealthy. You know.
I think there's something to the human condition. It's something very primal, because this makes me think of Roman times, bread and circus.
Oh, you were
Uh,
there.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
was up.
that's
I was
when you
upset
start.
half with their heads.
That's when you started going through menopause.
Yeah, that's when I started. That's
Yeah. Was
that's when I
Cicero
started
like
dating.
around the Cicero era?
He's overrated.
Yeah,
Uh,
he dumped
overrated.
you. That was the
Um,
time.
so I think it has to do with that primal human condition. It's bread and circus. It's um
Mm.
that you want, like, that whole thing that we're talking about. Like, you want to see the car crash. You really, like, primally, most people don't wish for someone's demise. Most people
Right.
don't wish for evil things to happen or dark things to happen, but it takes you out of your element so profoundly that I think I also relate it to like horror movies. It takes you out of you so far, and it's such an extreme emotion. It almost hits a pleasure center. It's like a vacation. And I think people, this whole phenomena of just of existence, that whole part, you like, the very primal, the part that's not good is that we forget there's like a human on the other side of whatever. Sometimes we forget that there's a human on the other side of the story.
So
like,
death is a vacation for the living.
So you've got to remember that. There's one thing. I think there's a little bit of that. And number two, celebrity culture. Like
that's more what
there's also a mass thing where a mass think. I don't know what you call it, phenomena, or just something that happens.
What?
That people relate. It's like they feel like they own a celebrity. They're like it's part of them. Mm-hmm. It's like a pet. It's like what they do. They have like the celebrity has to appeal to them, and they have to appeal to they've adopted that person as a part of their life so closely they've forgotten that that's a real person that they don't know, they're not related to, and they don't own anything. But they've come to find so much meaning or whatever it may be.
Yeah, they apply their own meaning.
So they get mad at them.
When Amy Winehouse died.
Like they know them, and like, but you don't.
I really cried when Amy Winehouse died, but that's because I knew right away she was murdered. And I did not cry when Jeffrey in prison died because I knew he wasn't, but that's a whole other thing.
So, yeah. So that's okay.
But see how we like to insert ourselves into nothing? But what I was saying about Mexican culture, there's a little, just generally, especially because of the nature of Mama Coco, and she never got she did get her flowers, but like in a way, from the international community, but her passing was from that perspective. It wasn't like celebrity culture perspective.
I guess so.
Maybe a little bit. We weren't like, oh, Mama Coco died. It was like, oh God, no. We wanted her to live forever.
I don't know. I think it was still because I still think it's because she was a local celebrity.
Okay, fine. Mexican people are horrible people too.
Yeah. Oh God, my phone keeps falling. Hold on. I'll fix this. Jesus Christ.
Exactly what you were just saying about your period is strong. It's like moving objects. I saw Substance last night, and it's
Tell me about it.
You're so far removed from yourself. Unfortunately I don't think it's something that you're gonna want to see, but
no, it looks like a mind job, and I can't.
Should you absolutely? It is so beautiful. It's sick. It's Demi Moore did so good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Other girl, Ama Bingongang, whatever her name is, the younger version.
Yeah.
Quaalude. Her last name's Quaalude.
No way.
Quali. Megan.
Is it something?
Quaalude lady.
Quaalude. Leaving.
She did so good. Actors are really good. Blah blah blah. Of course, I looked up the boyfriend who was in the one scene, who was like really hot, and then she turns into a monster. Not to give too much away, but it is okay. I'll give you the essence of it because you
give me the essence. I'm not gonna watch it.
She's like, Demi Moore does this really good workout video scene, and it's really great, and she's like this older woman now who's like whatever that workout guru was. She's kind of like that. Like she has her own little
like the Buns of Steel lady.
You got it. It's
remember the Buns of Steel lady? Was it Tammy Webb? Like her?
Yeah, she's
I
dead.
remember her. She's alive. I was like, oh, she's cool.
Is she alive? So her thing was like, you got it, ladies, you got it. Okay, so she does this thing, and then the whole
or
thing
like
Dennis Quaid, not Quaalude, comes in. Randy Quaid, Dennis, and he is like we need to find somebody who's younger or whatever. So she knows that they're trying to replace her because she's aged up.
I worked with Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, go ahead. You were with him?
No, I worked with Dennis Quaid in a movie.
He's got
two movies.
He have a he has a nose. And and so they want to replace her with a younger version of herself, and so they're holding auditions to replace Elizabeth Sparkle, who is her. So this is all in the beginning of the movie. So she gets this little secret thing that's like, take this if you want to
live. Take this if you want to live.
Find your youth, regenerate, whatever.
Like adrenochrome.
A series of events, yeah. But worse. But maybe same idea in a really backwards way, which I could explain, but I don't really care. And so she goes in this little secret locker after getting a little note, and then she takes this substance that makes the youthful version of herself, I guess. But it's not her when she's younger. It's just
like replicate, or she becomes that.
What comes out of her body, and she
like she births it?
She temporarily dies. Well, not dies, but she's like comatose. So that younger version goes and auditions for her replacement, gets it. But every week they have to switch out. But the warning is, it's just all like one phone call and little notes, is that they are one within the same matrix, so they can't fight each other. And of course, the one wants to not just do it. The one who's younger was like, but I'm on the cover of Vogue or whatever. So she's like, it's just a few more hours during a sex scene. So she like extends it. And then when you do that, it takes something away from the older version. So the horror starts to turn into some of the most beautiful horror makeup I've ever seen. And it is sick. And they do such a good job with the horror stuff. But she becomes further and further away from herself and by the end, without giving too much away, like, which you can pretty much guess from it.
You can give it away.
She wanted, well, all she wants more than anything, maybe not. I don't really know if that's all she wants more than anything, because she still holds on to it. The best version of herself that you see objectively is what she was already. That she was this full 50-year-old menopausal woman.
I was just thinking that how I wouldn't change, but like I see my wrinkles and I'm like, when I see a picture of myself when I'm like 26, I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea. But I'm like, I would not trade places with her. I would not. Because that mental state, and what made me realize and reflect on that 26-year-old would not be able to reflect now and do that same thing. No, I would never.
Yeah.
I'm my best version now.
Yeah. And yeah, the boy was like, I just want to get a better sense of what you were like at 22. Did your parents pay for stuff and blah, blah, blah? And then I was just like, God, I was like, I am so glad I'm not that.
That's so funny that you said that, because I have a couple of, I have friends that age, young men who maybe if I open the door, they might want more than friendship. But they asked, one of them asked me the other day, because they're my gym bros, the other day, hey, can I see pictures of you in your 20s? And I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I have one on my phone. And I was like, in between, and I was like, let me check in between sets, because you got to rest a couple minutes between. So when I did, and I'm like, oh yeah, actually I have some pictures scanned. So I was like, oh yeah, I found some. Come here. And you wanted to see them. I'm like, how random? Like, why? Like in your early 20s. And I'm like, oh, your age. He wanted to see what I looked like his age. He's like 23.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very curious. It wouldn't occur to me to ask somebody that, but I realized, oh, they're trying to compare.
No, I would say,
trying to see what I would look like their age, and then is there a fantasy they're connecting? I don't know.
Well, there's definitely fantasy, yes, and I also think like, wow, you look so good right now. I can't imagine what you're like in your 20s. For me, like I think I look better now.
I feel like I look better
because it's like an aura thing.
I mean, I feel I was a pretty girl then, but like I feel, oh yeah, me too. I'm like, and also it's a person thing.
I'm on meth in that or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I'm like on something in that. Like
it's an aura thing and an in-person thing as well, where I'm like, no picture, first of all, will ever do it versus the real, like in person, because there's that energy. And I'm like, I kept working to improve. There might be a certain innocence at certain points, ignorant bliss, but
time being the fourth dimension or whatever, like time being like
the 45D.
Yeah, whatever.
Ooh,
It,
starting to kill
it
us.
we are coexisting with that younger self. I think that was like an interesting thing from that. Like you can't separate it the two, and they warned that in the substance movie that I just saw. We are coexisting with that. We're talking to our younger self. You know, all those like little self-help courses, like if you can say something to your younger self, and I'd be like, get
Yeah,
Dr. Pep early.
oh my God. Okay. We
Stop
just
with
talked
the
about something.
gonorrhea.
We just talked about something. And this is even another movie. Okay. So yesterday, I was with my family. They celebrate the Epiphany Day, and you have to, you get the rosca, the bread, the Three Kings Day, and you get the bread, and you have to cut it, and whoever gets the baby, there's a tradition where you have a party and what. Yeah,
That's creepy.
it's
I mean,
fun.
no disrespect, but like looking from the outside.
There's a little baby. There's a
the palindrome 212.
celebrated around the world. There's a little baby in the bread, and whoever gets the baby in the bread, you don't eat the baby. You get the baby. You're like, I got the baby, and now you celebrate. Is it Candelario or in like a month? I don't celebrate that religion, but I participate with my family. Anyway, we're with them. I was with them, and my brother was actually talking about radio for some reason, like radio frequencies, explaining this to his son. And he's like, listen, I just found something out, that certain radio frequencies exist forever and they're constantly bouncing around, and that there are radio clubs that do this where they look for frequencies, and they can find frequencies of people who have broadcast in like the 60s and the 70s during the Korean War.
Nerdiest group of people. You imagine that club incel to the
No, that's not even incel. This is like some advanced. I don't think it's incel. This is more advanced stuff.
like club, like,
could be, yeah.
Club,
but where they're tuning in, and you can't, like, they can hear it still live on the. You're tuning into the radio wave that always exists, so it's a fucking trip. So they're able to tune into the radio of something that is happening currently, like it's happening now in the 60s, right? But they can't interact with it.
Can they change it?
And my nephew, I don't know, my nephew made an observation. He's 10, and he's like, oh, so it's kind of like an echo, something I can hear, but I can't change it because it's already existing. And I'm like, you're a brilliant kid. Yeah, it's like an echo or like a shadow. Like you see it, but you can't change it. And that was crazy. So my sister-in-law said, hey, you know what my favorite movie is? And I'm like, no, tell me. She's like, one of my favorite movies is a movie called Frequency.
Oh yeah.
And she's a lot younger than me. So I don't know this movie. She's like, oh my God, it came out in the 90s. She said 90s, but I think my brother said 2000s. But Frequency was it? And it's it's that same thing where somebody finds on the radio their dad. He finds his dad who's died, and they start interacting, right? Yeah. And he start trying to change the course of how he got murdered or something like that.
Right, I remember that.
She started telling me about it. She's like, you have to see it. It's one of my favorite movies. And she's such a feminine romantic that wouldn't have even struck me.
Oh, yeah.
Their favorite. So that is wild. Like
Frequency.
Yeah, Frequency. Well, we have to watch that.
2000. That's why it's confusing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it was I knew it was Dennis Quaid. I knew. It's funny you brought that up.
It's Dennis Quaid?
It's Dennis Quaid. I knew it. I was thinking Dennis Quaid the whole time, and I was like, no, that's just because we were talking about.
We always call him.
Of course, you just brought. Oh my God, you just channeled Frequency. Dennis Quaid knows brought Frequency. He's got a nose. I'd still talk to my abortions.
What?
I still talk to my abortions.
Wait. Expand?
Oh, I talk to my abortions. That's all. At the end.
You talk to your
past.
Get out.
Past life, yeah.
Okay.
My sister. Oh wait, but this is a funny one. My sister. I gave her a little psychic reading thing because I found it as like a gift, a Christmas present. I was like, just do it. And the lady's like, yeah, you don't want kids in this life because all your babies died in the last one.
Oh, so in this life she decided not to have.
And I keep thinking like my lover died in the past one because I'm so my anxiousness about it is like I'm always like, oh God, don't die. Like I'm always thinking that. And I'm like, I don't want to get too close because then you're gonna die. I was like, I feel like that might have happened for me, but like that doesn't mean it's true now. It's changed.
I have a feeling, very, very strong feeling that I might have been aloof in a past life.
That's a
Um,
weird name to have.
like I'm in a love where maybe like in a queen conservative kind of way, maybe where I
Hmm.
couldn't express my love to someone, and now I'm like I have to overcome that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
We have that eighth storehouse in Buddhism. They call it eighth storehouse, where you it's like the I want to say database. It's your karmic storehouse. So you where you would basically remember your past lives, and it's not out of the purview to remember that if you constantly are tapping into the ninth dimension or ninth consciousness, which is like what the universe is made of, 𝘞𝘩𝘢𝘥, according to Buddhism. Um, and that's actually what Shakyamuni, like everybody knows Siddhartha Gautama, it's represented by the big fat statue, but that just means abundance. He was actually like not fat. He
Right,
I
right.
imagine obese people back it just didn't happen. There's no corn syrup. And he
McDonald's,
under the
French fries.
Bodhi tree, yeah. And was it in Tibet? Where was the Bodhi tree? I forget. Is that where the
Uh,
was? Are we tying
it
everything
wasn't
in
it in India? India.
all?
Wasn't
Um,
it India?
I
Nepal?
I
Nepal
just
or
read
India?
about it too. Where? Oh God, ChatGPT.
I
So
can't check my
underneath
phone right now. Yeah.
where is located the current Bodhi tree that's Siddhartha
Where? Yes,
Gautama.
Siddhartha. Um, Gosh.
What? And he remembered all his past lives for 7 days, and he didn't move, even the fly, like all these things came around him. So he literally went through all of his past lives, and then he realized the true nature of the universe because of that. So he went into his eighth storehouse to unlock the ninth. That's like the story of the original Buddha. It's in Bodhi Gaya, Bihar, India. Sensei visited.
Behar, right? Isn't
What is it?
Behar?
Joy Behar.
I think it's Behar.
Joy Behar's third home in India.
Yeah, India, right? Yeah, under the border, because that's where Bodhi trees are really from.
Yeah. So it's not some woo-woo thing to remember your past lives. I guess if people make the joke like in a past life I must have been like this. It's like and then try to uncausality to understand causality based off of like one past life memory is like you can't even imagine the causes of it. But they are patterns. So to tap into, I guess the only way that you really wouldn't allow yourself to tap into is if you don't have that belief system. It starts and ends, and this is your one life, and then you go back and you're in paradise or whatever. Like that's just another belief system.
Yeah.
But you
Oh,
have
yeah.
that open, which I think is true that we're reincarnated. If
Me
you
too.
have that opening in your um, thought
Belief system.
system, you can remember it, and it's those glimpses into like, huh, did I just have that thought? That's very imaginative. Like you should really listen to that if you're interested in it, because it's probably true.
Oh, yeah. I've had several. There's several very distinct ones since I was a child that I feel like I've tapped into, and I know I'm like, oh, I was alive then. I can tell it's a different time period, it's a different experience, and I could see it's like it's as if I'm watching a movie and I could even see it.
Yeah.
Like click, click. Oh, okay.
Movie idea, don't steal it. I forget that we're actually live. That's funny. There, did you see that kid who was in the night one of the 9/11 towers? 9/11 tower. He was in one of the World Trade Center towers. I guess like, and he died in it, but he was born, I don't know how many years later, and he was describing it like when he was 3 or something.
Oh my
And
goodness.
to do a T, never heard of the event before, and they're like, okay. And there's a lot of those little stories, like that Dateline or whatever picks up where it's like they're describing an event that they were definitely at. My dad has one where he knows for sure. He says it all the time. He's like, because he always wanted to fly, but he couldn't because of his asthma and eyesight or something. Same thing with going into, he couldn't be drafted because of that. And he always wanted to fly. And in turn, my mom ended up becoming a flight attendant, which he really helped push her into and encourage her. And he remembers going down in a plane in World War I, and he even describes the moment where he's like about to go down, and it's very like how we approach like think like getting injured and stuff in this lifetime, like us as Polish people, or just like in my family, where it's like he was just like, oh God, he's like so pissed off. He's like, come fucking on. It's like going down. He's like, motherfucker. It was like that. It wasn't like, "Ah." It was
Oh,
like, fucker.
Ben, that's so wild. All right. Okay. So here's one of mine that I've had since I was little. And I can recall it as clear as day as if I'm watching a TV show. I can recall it from then to right now. I am running with people. We're running in a line. There's one or two people in front of me, and then there's people behind me, and we are in some sort of war. We're out in the open sea, and we're on what looks like, I don't know what modern time it is, but if I were to compare it, it feels like a World War like II, maybe.
Okay.
World War I or II, but it could.
It's ironic because you were actually alive in this body then, but okay.
It's there. It's so
parallel universes.
It's yeah, it could be somewhere else, but we're running, and it feels, there's something about it that feels 40s like, but I don't know. But we're on what are those called? Those ships that are out in the open sea?
Dragons.
No, they're those. They're not the battleships, but they have. No, they have those flat. They're like flat because planes can fly in on them, and they're huge.
Yeah.
I don't know what those are called,
something
but
ship. It's a something ship.
We were on that, and we were getting attacked, and we had to go, and it was time to go, and we were running in a line, and the person in the front was saying, we have to do this, and they're saying we had to jump, we had to move from the big ship into it was into the escape ship, like what are those called when you jump from one, the safety boats, life boats?
Yeah,
we were jumping into lifeboats, and everything's kind of like gray. It's like those military colors, and out in the open sea, and I could see things coming in, and it was very, very precise, and we had to jump from one to the other, and I didn't make it. I didn't make a jump. I didn't make the jump. And I fell straight to the water, and it was exactly like that. It was just very, I didn't make it. It was I was bummed. I was like, fuck, I didn't make it. Oh, and I go into the water, and deep into the water, and I could see deep sea animals. I go in and I see the deep sea animals.
You're so alive.
Yeah, there was a lot of deep sea animals that I could see, and they were down there, and
that's a direct name.
And I could feel I was losing. It was this. I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. And I remember thinking,
drowning is
that's it. But it didn't hurt. It was very interesting. I was like, it went. It was like, there's my last breath. And it just went from one. It was like I was observing it. Oh, there's my last breath.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, bummer. It was literally,
you succumb to it. You surrendered to it.
Yeah, it was, there's my last breath. I'm surrendering. It was like a surrender. I was like, it's gone. And in that second, there was no pain. It was like I just transcended, but I could feel it. At the instant happened, I was like, I'm back up there. It was like I'm back out somewhere, like in the cosmos. And it was like I could feel the feeling of like pure consciousness. It didn't hurt. There was no pain. I didn't feel anything. I was like
Buddhism.
It was like I saw it. I was like, that body died.
In Buddhism, it's called 𝘂. Some people say fifth.
What is that?
𝘂.
What does that mean?
𝘂 and something. 𝘂 is like the ocean. It's like the ocean. Like of it, like you're a drop, and then you rejoin the ocean.
Yeah. It's like I rejoined. Yeah.
State of
I just went boom,
something.
boom, no pain, and it was like, oh man.
And they say that when people see the light and they're in a tunnel, it's just them being reborn through a vagina.
I've heard that.
They're about to go.
When people say I see the light, and I'm like, well, that makes sense because
yeah. My mom was like, well, they say that what this really is, and I'm like, who's they? We've been doing that for like 40 years to her. I mean, we've been doing that for like 22 years to her. She's like, who's that?
You're just being born through the vagina.
Who's that?
The big canal. I'm going through a dark tunnel. Yeah, you are, honey. I'm pushing you through.
I see the light, and it's like, that's the fluorescent lights in the bad Pakistani hospital you're being born into. At least they're in the hospital. God, get
Well,
out of it.
well, if that.
Yeah.
Being...
Would you still be
So,
my if I look like this?
so there's my experience there. I just shared it with the world.
That's
I could
amazing.
I could see everything very clear too. I can see the time, and I remember when I jumped, when I fell, and I didn't make it, and they had. I knew. I'm like, no one can. They had to keep going to survive, and I
Yeah.
remember they're like, and I could feel them being. The second I fell, I felt them like their sadness, but they had to keep moving. I can feel they're like, no. And I know someone younger was behind me, even like someone smaller, like I was looking out
I'll
for.
bet you carried with you into this lifetime.
What's that? Them?
Someone younger being behind you.
Yeah. Yes. There was someone younger behind me that
Very
I
close
know
to
for
you.
sure that I was looking out for whoever that was.
Oh,
I
you
don't remember our relationship.
buddy. Oh.
That I
My
don't remember, but I remember feeling that person in the front was like, that it doesn't matter if somebody falls, we have to keep going for to
you
survive.
have to make that agreement. My
Yeah.
grandfather in World War II, he had metal plate in it. He's dead. Metal plate in his head,
Oh,
from being
hi,
he got
Grampy.
shot in the head. He saw Mussolini being hung. His first battalion.
No way. Whoa.
His first, I have pictures of him. His first mission or whatever, first thing that he ever did, like went out on a boat with 30 other guys.
Mission. I think
It
they're
got
called
bombed.
missions. Yeah.
Yeah. The boat got bombed and it sank, and only two of them, he was one of them, survived, and he swam to land. That was how the war started for him. So he lost the entire crew, but fortunately, he didn't really get to know him. I mean, maybe he was like training with them up until then, but it was just like, just keep swimming. Speaking of Ellen leaving the country,
It's not that he doesn't care. It doesn't care. He has to. Oh,
yeah,
oh my. Oh, I got to charge my battery. So.
we're at 49 minutes. Let's do a couple minutes more.
Okay, a couple minutes
Keep
more
it
before
under
my phone
Let's
dies.
do a couple minutes more, like we're working. Oh,
a
I pulled this thing. It hurts so
couple
bad.
minutes more.
Anybody else who died, we're gonna not celebrate, but just be fascinated by?
Dude.
Because
Well,
we're doing this for the first time, so it could be within the past week.
well, the Golden Globes just aired. Do they do an in memoriam during the Golden Globes? Did you see them?
I was doing something else when it was playing.
I I was actually
Boogum boogum.
I was sad that day.
Wood.
So, and I normally watch them, and I'll tell you, it was the first time I actually wanted to do something different. And although it's my industry and I love it, I actually kind of wanted to collect separate from celebrity culture for a day. So I didn't watch any of it.
Oh, I was forced into it, and
It was a
I was
choice.
watching it, and I saw like Demi Moore with the younger Quaalude lady, and I didn't know anything about the movie or anything. I was like, oh, Demi is back, like whatever, just like that. I don't really care about, but it's like, why is she back? But then I saw the movie and I was like, fuck yeah. But I watched like them up there and they're like, doing some like bad skit with each other, and I was just like, oh my God, award shows, like I can't. And what was the point of that? Oh,
What,
I
you
didn't see
didn't
the in
watch it, or
memoriam thing.
you really didn't watch?
No, I didn't really watch it, but there, who was the person that was in it that it struck me? I can't remember. Oh, but there was, wait, now it's a side note. The trans woman that won for the Perez
Is she
movie,
trans?
she said, yeah, she's trans. She said, she's like
She
fully trans. She said Namyo Horenge in
she
her.
said Namyo Horenge-kyo.
I want to meet her. I hope she's that. The other one is Catwoman, or the Catwoman lady. She died, Jocelyn, and
That's
I
right.
met her before.
Last week, right?
Yeah, she was really good friends with Janet Jackson. So Janet Jackson used to come into my nightclub
Oh,
all the time. It was a little tiny nightclub. She would come in, we'd kind of clear part, we'd have to know she was coming in before. And that
of
was when Janet
course.
was getting like she was really getting, because Catwoman was her friend. Like she really looked the same. Like it was like when Janet had
Wow.
just started doing the thing. So they
Yeah.
were sitting together, both of them so sweet. So I just remember the
Oh,
Catwoman. I was like, we just said, "Oh, it's the lady who's the Catwoman." She actually looked really interesting and good then, because she ate
good.
the cat, like looked weird,
Good.
but like
Yeah.
looked like Catwoman. It's like, oh, I see what you're doing, but that doesn't really last. You have to kind of change animals, I guess, for it to work. She should have gone like hippo or something. I don't know, but she,
It's the zoo. It's the zoo option in the
yeah,
front. Zoo
the
trio.
but they were together, and I guess they were really good friends, of course. I was like, if that makes sense with all the plastic surgery, but they were so sweet. I remember her just being really good, like energy, just real sweet
Oh.
in herself, in her own little planet. So happy to be friends with her friend Janet. They found solace in something really beautiful connection with her. But she died. I mean, she I don't want to talk too much about her story. I don't actually know too much except the fact that she wanted to look more like the cat because the cat she loved and she died. It died. But there's something so pure, even though it's totally circusy, about her looking like that that relates to the death of something really important to her. And it was this childlike what reason for her wanting, and then to go against her ex-husband. There was another, but like there was a
Oh, yeah, right.
reason for her to do that to herself. And I think that that never left her. I think she didn't really do it to, I mean, on the surface, yeah, but like, I think she really did it out of like pain and just coping and then just
Yeah.
being really childlike. And she didn't really ever lose that. I remember like just, I mean, there could be opposite stories of her being a monster. I don't know. But my experience with her was she was just really, really like Pamela Anderson. When I met Pamela Anderson, like really, really, I'm name dropping.
Yeah.
Like she's all the things
You
that
know people.
really, really, really sweet. Just really, really sweet. Like you could see the shit that they've gone through and it never it hopefully it washes over them a little bit more, but they never lost that vulnerability, which is like amazing.
Oh, that's sweet.
So the cat woman, I was like, oh, you know, I mean, she got so much hell her whole life just for looking like that. Whatever. I mean, she did that to herself, but it's like, and then Jimmy Carter died. Whatever. I mean, not
Oh
whatever.
my God.
That's another one.
Oh, his procession started this morning. That's what it was. His
Procession, the half mass, yeah.
yeah. He's a big deal.
He was so smart. This is not a political statement. So smart, so good at the things he was good at, and he was not a good politician. And I don't say that like he wasn't a good president. He just wasn't good at that thing. He wasn't good at like
His lasting legacy.
wheeling and dealing like the way you have to as a politician. It just wasn't his thing. Like he
His
wasn't that great at it.
his lasting legacy is philanthropic work.
Yeah, like that's the stuff that he was good at. He was really, really good at. He just not everybody has that like the energy of entering into a career like that. Not everybody can do all those, can be all that. You know, like you know, it's it makes sense that like an actor would be able to go into that, you know, and be good at it. But there's not. It's hard to have crossover from like a nerd who's like in the.
An actor would be good at it because a lot of actors need to have personality disorders and disconnect from themselves in order to be good at that. So I
No.
think we should end it with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you talking about Ukraine every time? Okay,
It's
cool.
true. It's true. I'm
I'll call you right
delayed.
after this.
Oh,
Yay.
sounds good. Call me in 5 minutes.
This is our
Bye.
first live, so let's see. I mean, we're totally not acknowledging the fact that we're going live, and there might be some people watching, like we're just talking to each other. But if this actually prints and publishes, and someday people watch this, because we only have 25 followers right now, that will change. I'm curious to see what you guys think, and then we'll, you know, I can't wait. I've enabled a live chat, but nobody's watching, so I can't wait till it becomes like a live chat thing where we can actually like interact with people.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to think what people think about this.
Maybe I'll wear makeup. Oh, I'll take these off. Oh, here.
And if we said anything that's really
Here,
horrible,
look.
oh, I love it. And if we ever say anything that's really horrible or really this, we're human and we self-correct. And some things I'm not going to correct. I'm not going to take back because this is how people actually talk to each other. And it doesn't mean that just because I say something, I actually believe a hateful side of that thing, you know, and that's the last time I'm ever going to explain myself. But on these lives, we're probably going to have some things that could easily be taken out of context. And that's okay because we're going to find our crew of people and they're going to support us and they understand where we're really coming from.
Yeah,
So
what he
that's actually
said.
the point of these lives.
Yeah.
Is to see where we're actually coming from and who we are.
I think this
So.
looks good. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's test this and I'll call you right back.